906. You need a copy of this book, honestly. And, let me just read a little bit about the author, right? Okay, or even about the book. Now, the book is about dispensing or delivering justice. Now, justice delivered by the application of law for the resolution of disputes that arise out of relationships in society. Justice is not a static concept. Its meaning and significance change with time. And so is law, the tool by which it is delivered. Society, the environment in which it is delivered, is also ever-changing. Society, however, changes faster than law, meaning the law lags behind society in change. For law as a tool for the resolution of disputes, this is a situation that forbodes a loss of relevance or effectualness unless a mechanism exists for aligning it with the ever-changing circumstances in society. Such a mechanism is provided by the judicial system, and this system is worked by judges. The work of the judges involves directing the course of the development of the law in a changing society. It is in doing this that they align the law with the changing society. Because law lags behind society in change, and because justice itself is an elusive concept, the task of the judges in directing the course of the development of the law is a very challenging one. It is a task that draws on considerable knowledge and calls for the exercise of great care and skill in its performance. In this book, the author relates the care and skill required of the judge as he applies the law to resolve disputes in a changing society to the care and skill required of a tightrope walker as he walks the tightrope. He tries to make the reader appreciate the challenge faced by the judge and the care and skill exercised by him by showing judges in action as they resolve disputes in a number of selected decided cases. Because of the relationship the author draws between the feet of the judge in directing the course of the law in a walking society in flux and that of the tightrope walker in walking the tightrope, he gives the book the title Dispensing Justice in a Society in Flux, Walking a Legal Tightrope. Wow! You need to grab a copy of this book. Honestly, look, the last time the viewers did something good for me, and I was very excited. I mean, my Lord called me and said, Kwame, what did you do? I didn't know you were promoting the book already. I said, my Lord, this is a very good book, and I cannot be a selfish human being. I have to share it with the rest of the world. So, for the last time, let me give you the contact so you can purchase the book. 0243-689-906. 0243-689-906. Register is here. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
I said I'm going to punish you.
Apologies to viewers.
The viewers will determine whether we should accept it or not.
Happy birthday to everybody.
Hey.
Today is a day of love, so
I shouldn't hit you. I shouldn't punish you.
The traffic was a bit slow on the motor.
Right. Doc mentioned so, but I won't pardon you. Me and you, we have an existing business. Anyway, so let's go to Senegal. What are your initial thoughts?
You see, when people get so drenched in power that they believe that rights of citizens must completely cease, and that citizens no longer have the voice to speak, then they call for trouble. Because if people are unable to express themselves in a civil society, in a society where civility should be the order of the day, then the Nigerians have a saying that he who brings the ant-infested firewood invites the lizards. So basically, the President Sall is probably inviting the military to intervene, because you are serving the constitutional term, and when your tenure is over, it's over. You have no business with the presidency. You have no business changing anything. You basically turn the hands of the legislature to agree to an extension of time, which is not the constitutional order. There is nothing to call for a state of emergency. per our constitution, I don't know about the Senegalese constitution, but per our constitution, even if there is a state of emergency and for any reason a new president is not sworn in, the president whose tenure is over will not continue to act. The authority now moves to Parliament, which is the representative of the people, and then the Speaker of Parliament takes over. And there are processes that it goes through, and there are time limits and timelines for which there must be election for a new president to be sworn in. So the action in Senegal, like I said, I'm not privy to what is in their constitution, so I will not be able to speak to what their constitution say. But this is basically a coup, probably a palace coup, to get himself illegitimately imposed on the people to continue to serve an expired tenure in office. And you see, it becomes a bit worrying when you have countries like Senegal that is also an example of our development and democracy, because within the international scheme of things, if you attend international meetings and all of that, Senegal is one country that is held in such a high esteem. So if you have things like this happening in Senegal, which represent a symbol within the Francophone countries, you begin to wonder what is happening. And it is worrying what is happening within the Francophone countries. The question is, who is behind all these things? Because we've known it, that the Francophone countries are tied to the apron strings of France. And the French are uncomfortable already with what has happened in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, because they've lost grounds in those countries already. Their worry is that they may lose grounds again in Senegal. Look at what happened with Gbagbo, because he made the effort to break away from France. Quickly, there was a coup. He was basically forced out, and Alassane Ouattara had been there basically forever. Right. And nobody is talking about it because he plays to the tune, he dances to the tune of the French. We look at what's happening in Togo. Faure Gnassingbé is basically become a dynasty, and Faure Gnassingbé had been there forever. He's moving nowhere. He's basically in charge, and I won't be surprised if by the time Faure Gnassingbé is getting out, his son may be ready or may have been prepared to take over from him. And for Togo, they will have a lot of difficulty removing Faure Gnassingbé, because it's basically an establishment, even within the military and all of that. They've taken over. But, well, let's see what happened in Niger. The people who overthrew were the very people who were around the president. So
Buya was very close to the president.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even what do you call it? Sankara, Thomas Sankara, was removed by his childhood friend. So you cannot trust. But there is a trend ongoing within the Francophone country, and for all that is happening, you see that the French want to protect their interest in Francophone Africa. I wouldn't say Francophone Africa, because that is what supports their economy. So if their countries are breaking away, then they are careful as to who becomes the president.
Right.
They would want to see somebody they can dictate to, somebody who will keep the order going, so that they will continue to milk Africa dry. We have a problem, we have a challenge. Unfortunately, the West African bloc, the ECOWAS bloc, has not lived to expectation. And it's also because it is a committee of people who think the same way and who would want to entrench themselves in position. Look, Nigeria has the same order going, except that they change government. But how do they change government? They change government by making sure that whoever becomes the next president falls within line. After Goodluck Jonathan, there's been every attempt to keep one party in there, so that you do not have that openness to allow for people to now investigate what is happening in Nigeria. We basically are having a similar challenge here, where one party feels we must necessarily be in government. Not the will of the people. It should be our will. We must hand over to ourselves. And so there may be a change in faces, but there may not be a change in the system. And when that happens, people begin to get worried. People begin to agitate because, and some people may say, Didija, but then you don't get the systems working. People feel, look, we are in charge, we are in control, we can do whatever we want. Nobody can hold us accountable. Particularly when you run an executive president where the president is the one who appoints the attorney general. And so the attorney general cannot prosecute his own people. He appoints the inspector general of police. He appoints the head of the various security institutions like now it's NIB, National Investigation Bureau, the National Security itself, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO. And most of these offices do not even have secured tenure.
Yeah. It's terminus with the...
not just for terminus. They don't have a secure tenure because the president at any point in time can remove
fire you.
All of them. Probably the only person who has some security of tenure is the special prosecutor. Apart from him, almost all the people that are appointed do not have security of tenure. And then you have a judiciary that is also at the beck and call of the executive, because persons who are appointed onto the bench are appointed through by the president, and their budget is controlled by the executive.
See why people should buy the book.
I agree. But you see, their budget is also controlled by the executive. So there's that trust is a challenge. As a country, we need to take lessons from what's happening around us. Because, like you say, when you see your friends beer burning, when you see KOD's beer burning, you try and fetch water or you shave yours in order that you don't get yours burned. So we as a country would have to guard jealously our constitution and start making efforts to make changes to our constitution, particularly the power that is vested in the president as an executive president. We feel some of the power must go off. We need to have a judiciary that is completely independent. We need to have a legislature that is completely independent and are able to hold the executive to account for what they do. It will not happen in this country that a president will get up one day and say, especially with the kind of parliament that we have, that I have suspended elections and I've rescheduled it for one more year and I want to continue in office. It won't happen. Ghanaians won't allow that to happen. But you see, we need a stable West Africa because we are not living in isolation. And since we are not living in isolation, things that affect Senegalese affect us. And I'll give you a very simple example. I'm a fisherman. Go to Senegal. Majority of the fishermen you see there are from Ghana. Go to Abidjan. Majority of the fishermen you see there are from Ghana. So if there's instability there, you expect an influx into our country. It means that you need to employ contingency measures that you have not prepared for in order to take care of the loads of people that are coming. Besides the Ghanaians that may be coming, you have some other nationals that may find Ghana safe haven. We were here when the Liberian Sierra Leone war came, and look at the number of people that came. You basically would have to now, if for nothing at all, they've taken over the Bujumburam area. That area is supposed to be a prime land that we could use for something else. The place had become a den of criminals. And this is a fallout from a war in another country. Now, that place is no longer secured. The whole Kasoa enclave is no longer secured. Because when things happen, they trace it to the camp. So we have, as a country, that experience that is now permanent. It's living with us. We are managing crime around the Kasoa area because one country in West Africa was not stable. So when things happen in other countries, yes, it is important that we...
But this is where you expect leadership, especially ECOWAS leadership, to act
that's
with expedition. You see, because you won't sit down, you can't sit down for all of these power-hungry, power-thirsty leaders to continue to act in ways which is contrary to the agreed norms and principles which govern the people. To continue to do these things, and then you don't talk about it, and then you don't speak about it, forgetting that it may have, repercussions on your own, countries. Yeah. And then when there's a coup d'etat, then we begin to,
Kwame, you see, that's what I'm saying, that in the first place, the people who are supposed to speak out themselves are guilty of worse
precisely.
So it becomes difficult because when you point one finger, there are four more that are pointing back at you. Mm-hmm. You get it? Because Tinubu, how did he win his elections? So it is basically about the same thing, that you stole the presidency, and I am still stealing some more months.
So what happens then? I mean, if we are going to go on it, because then it means that the people are left alone.
The people of Senegal need to defy the orders, and there must be positive defiance. They must hit the streets. They need to force the president out of power. You get it?
Look, and what they are saying is also true. That yes, they are aggrieved, they are concerned, they are worried, but they should not act. They are saying that they don't want to act outside the remit of the law. They want to operate within the confines of law.
No, the confines of law gives them the freedom to demonstrate against the order when the order is more functioning.
No, but then again, it's like when we want to demonstrate and then we write to the police for protection, and the police says, we can't use this route. Respectfully, we can't use this route. You can't use this route. You can't use this route. So I mean, from where we sit, we think that it is important for you to postpone and do it at a later date. You have to respect, though yes, the Constitution grants you that liberty, you should also respect the fact that institutions are working. So
when you can't say institutions are working in Senegal today. When the president has basically thrown away the constitution and is doing what he likes, you can't say institutions are working.
He went to parliament for approval.
You see, he went to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not too privy with the Senegalese constitution, but when the tenure that the president is supposed to serve is over, and for no reason decided to suspend elections and reschedule it for December, and then goes to parliament to try and ratify that illegality that he had committed, then comes back and say, well, you cannot demonstrate. That is where I say, then you have thrown away that order. And so, for me, there must be positive defiance. And in positive defiance, it's not about what the police say. It's about what
they don't want. You don't want blood, on the streets of Senegal by reason of disregarding or disrespecting, because you see, whether we like it or not, yes, the process of wanting to continue to perpetrate his stay or continue to entrench himself, right, may be flawed. However, it was done legally, legitimately, So if you are saying that, oh, because he's gone to parliament and because he's seeking to do XYZ, the people should act in a positive, defiant way, then it means that you're asking the people to also violate the very law which they are seeking to protect.
You see, when you sit on the rights of people unnecessarily, the only solution is for the people to defy your orders.
But the people are saying that, yes, we will defy, but we want to defy within the remit of law.
So
let him come in. I will come back to you.
If I may, you know, the positive defiance bit is a way of trying to, in our words, like revolution. I mean, trying to change the government of the day, because number one, the government wouldn't want to seem to be weak by trying to go back on his ways, and the people would not listen for you to have your way. I mean, so it's a bit of a difficult situation they find themselves. But then the foundation of the problem they are facing today in Senegal is like what Neil mentioned earlier. Is the same issue that we have here. We go back to the Constitution. The Constitution gives so much power to the president to do what he pleases. I mean, that the president can go through. It's the same constitution he used to go through the parliament, because he knows he has the majority. He knows he can easily influence the parliament to do his bidding. I mean, so if we don't check the constitution, especially in the Ghana case, we are going to have similar issue going forward. But the question is, how do the Senegalese people go around the hurdle? Should they hit the street, or they should also obey the law and sit back? I think they should try all avenues at the moment. They should use the legal means. Number one, if the police are telling them they can't use this road, they can't use that road, what are the proposed ways? I'm sure that in every country, if the police is telling you can't use this route, they usually bring a proposal. What are the proposals? What are the routes or the places that they can be used? If they still insist, then they should give themselves some time. I remember even in Ghana here, there was going to be a demonstration, and the police people wanted the people to they were patient enough. I mean, as it Occupy, no, it was, I've forgotten the name, that they wanted to go through the Jubilee House. Arise Ghana demonstration. They use the legal means, I mean, to be able to find a common ground. So I think that for the lives that is likely to be lost when they go by the positive defiance, they should try to exploit all other means by, number one, trying to find alternative or a better date for the demonstration. But then it is also an advice to Macky Sall, that what he is doing will eventually get to the positive defiance. Is it that now or tomorrow? We can only defer it. I mean, there's a point that no advice will work again. People are prepared to sacrifice their lives to protect the constitution and the nation, and that nothing can be done.
Yeah, because in Richardson's preamble to his submission, he made mention of the fact that one of the surviving democracy on the continent, is Senegal, and it's uncontested. Now, I believe that the survival or otherwise of a democracy is primarily dependent on different factors, varied factors. One of such is the respect for rule of law. Now, agreed that the president is acting in violation of, in fact, in proper violation, is acting in true violation of the law. That's accepted, right? However, the president is using the law to violate the law. Now, if the president is using the law to violate the law, we should also use the law to violate the law. So even though, yes, granted that we want to embark on a demonstration, a peaceful one for that matter, to express our displeasures, we should not do so in a way that will create the impression that we are being lawless or we are violating the law, because their democracy have survived over this period by reason of the amalgamation of the actions and omissions of the people, first of all, and also of the governments that they've had over the period. And I think that's why they've been able to survive all these years. So maybe they should look at that. Our situation in Ghana, Perhaps, and I think it's important that you drew that parity. You know, from your submission, you sought to draw some parity between Ghana, or put some parity between Ghana and that of Senegal and what is happening. And it's very instructive. Now, our situation in my respective view is that it's quite different, because then it is so exceedingly glaring that here is a political party that is seeking to use state resources in order to create a stumbling block for the expression, you know, that people may have in relation to their disagreement with government. So that one is so clear, you know, that they're actually using the state apparatus to prevent us from demonstrating or exercising our constitutional right. And that is why sometimes that one, it is important that we do X, Y, Z. You get the point? Especially also when, you know, Parliament has not passed any law to prevent people from doing what they have to do, especially when the Constitution is quite clear on what people need to do in order to express their displeasures and things like that. And then you know that they are using the police or they are using the military to prevent people. It's a deliberate, you know, calculative attempt to prevent people.
Kwame, I'm not cutting you short. You know that when it comes to issues of human rights, for all constitutions that I know of, it's based on the International Declaration on Human Rights, which is a UN declaration, and that doesn't change. Those rights cannot be de-legislated. Those rights that are in the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights cannot be de-legislated because they are guaranteed. It is not somebody that is dashing those rights to their citizenry. These are rights that are inherent and in the person the moment you are born. And the right to protest, demonstrate, is one of those rights. The right to assembly, the right to participate in this. So if Parliament passes a law to suspend those rights that individuals have in their respective countries, then Parliament, the Senegalese Parliament itself, is defiling a natural order.
Yes, but you see, the principle of and upholding the levers of fundamental human rights is also embedded in the constitutional principles within those countries. So, for instance, in Ghana, we say that we are operating within the realms of international law. So everything that we do must be, you know, must be in consonance really with the principles governing international relations and things like that, right? So fundamental human rights, international law, and things like that. But then when you come to Ghana, you have to localize that to say that yes, you have the right and the liberty to demonstrate. However, you need police protection. Now, the police also has a role to play in guaranteeing that fundamental right
that you have. Not in dispute.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. That so you may have the right, but if the police says that it is not safe, for instance, that there is going to be chaos, that we are supposed to protect the peace and security of the nation, but your demonstration is going to create chaos and destabilize the peace that we have, they have every right and more to prevent you from exercising that within that period.
So that is why I'm saying that at this stage, it's a matter of calling for a positive defiance. And in positive defiance is not what the police says. You get it? Because you see, you have a president that says that I'm suspending 2 weeks to elections. I'm suspending the elections. 2 weeks to elections.
5th December, the 7th December.
No, the elections are supposed to be.
They are suspended to December
7th. Says 2 weeks to elections. He says I'm suspending the elections. And that I want to continue with my tenure for up to about a year.
To clean his books.
You get it. Now, what is the guarantee that even by that time
he will
not ask for further extension?
He won't ask for further extension, especially when he has a parliament that will say yeah to him, and of course they know what benefits come from saying yeah to him. And when the people show or prove to them that they are weak and that they cannot stand up against,
they will continue to perpetrate that. And I agree with you. On that score, I agree with you.
Also note, I don't know whether the presidential election goes with parliamentary election. If it is so, then it means that by extension, all parliamentarians' term have been extended by about 1 year.
Even if they will call for an earlier, or if there will be an earlier parliamentary election, what shows that the MPs won't go back to parliament and say, because the president tenure has
not
ended, we want to continue to enjoy our. So you see, there is a grand scheme, and I say that these things that are happening in the Francophone countries are supported by France. You get it? My other, I don't know, I have not, I have vetted, but you should be in a better position to tell me whether Senegal is a monoistic country or a dualist.
I don't know, I would say.
Yeah, because if it is a monoistic country, then the issue of they have to domesticate the Declaration on Human Rights doesn't come at all. Mm-hmm. Because once they sign to the charter, it becomes a law automatically. Mm-hmm. If it's a dualist country, but even if it is a dualist, it should be in their constitution. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that you cannot suspend the rights of citizens. It is guaranteed. Once I'm born, it's inherent.
No, I get your point, but those rights also come with responsibilities. I mean, yes, the fact that it's inherent, it comes. You are responsible for ensuring that your rights does not move beyond the periphery of a right to affect another person. So that's
my rights.
Yes,
it's my rights that are being violated. Mm-hmm. It's not about me using my right to violate the system.
Yeah,
and so I would have to stand for my rights.
I agree with you.
I think the challenge with the Senegalese, they don't even trust
that's the whole point. So you see, that's the whole point. So it's just that they have a system that, in their estimation, is running aground. Yeah. You know, and a political system that is deliberately created to continue to allow Macky Sall to entrench himself in power. And that is why the people are unhappy. Because previously, I mean, they've never had, like you said, I mean, it's one of the democracies in the world which is widely respected, because they have made sure that, like, look at Ghana, and even how we conduct our own elections in this country. Now, you don't know whether it is the will of the people that is being upheld, or it is the will of the government in power that is being upheld. Because eventually, or it's the will of the EC that has been, eventually you realize that, you know, there are some anomalies and confusion and brutalities and which will culminate, and exactly will culminate into some victory for some political party. You get the point. So that one, yes, you can raise fundamental concerns about it, and legitimately so. But this one, they have a history. And that is why I'm struggling to even appreciate why Macky Sall would do what he's doing. And let me bring into the conversation now, Nia Boy. Like, we've been discussing this Senegal matter. We have been trying to pull parity with what is happening currently in Ghana to see whether or not, you see, we are better placed to even criticize them to begin with. And also, if we are better placed to criticize them, what are some important lessons? What are the important lessons we must learn or draw from the experiences that they are going through? Now, we are told, okay, per the reports, that Macky Sall, not intends, in fact, he has demonstrated that the conduct of the elections, which was supposed to be in 2 weeks' time, right, should be postponed. In fact, 25th of February should be postponed all the way to December. People are agitated. Civil society organizations, have come up to say that no, that is unacceptable, and so they do not understand, especially when no tangible explanations have been given relative to that decision which has been made. And therefore, they wanted to hit the streets, throng the streets of Senegal to demonstrate their displeasures about the sole decision taken by government, albeit with some surreptitious support of parliament, right, to continue to entrench himself in power. Now, they have been banned from protesting. My brother Register says, yes, you've been banned, but there's positive defiance too. Because if you know that your right, fundamental right, which is inherent, has been violated so brazenly, then you must also brazenly disregard the laws which govern, proper practices, to declare that, listen, we are not happy, and therefore we are positively defying the orders given by government in order that our displeasures can be loud and clear. And you are sparing no attempt at all at exercising that right. So that is register. But my position really is that they are saying that they want to operate within the confines of law, irrespective of whether or not it is quite axiomatic that government has acted in clear violation of law. But they want to operate within the confines of law. Government or authorities are saying that the route that they want to use is not proper, that they need to now look for other routes which will best work and protect the peace and security and the sanctity of the governance process in Senegal, then they are going to abide by those orders given. What would be your position, in respect of same? And then you marry that, or rather, if you can marry that or divorce that from what is currently happening, especially with the EC and wanting to move the date from December 7 to November and all the other, attending issues relative to the discussion of electoral practices and systems, in the sub-region.
Well, greetings to your viewers and my colleagues in here.
I thought you were going to come in red.
In fact,
his boxes are red.
I cannot celebrate Valentine. It is foreign to me. Somebody's foreign love. Our great grandfathers did worse. We are not celebrating that. And so I won't celebrate Valentine. Yes, look, what is happening in Senegal is a coup d'etat. Let us not miss words. It is a complete coup d'etat. And I am disappointed hearing that the opposition wants to actually do things in the confines of the law. In fact, the only way to correct such events, such as coup d'etat, is to commit another crime for its correction. You can't operate in an illegality, in an environment of an illegality, and say you want to use the course of the law, process and procedures laid down that are in itself illegal. Look, this issue about extension and hold on power is not just about SAR. It goes beyond that. Somebody somewhere sits down and says, look, we are losing grip on the Francophone countries in Africa. What is coming after this guy will be similar, although it is not a military takeover. They will not respond to us because they have seen good examples from some of these takeovers that has happened in recent time. And therefore, let's ensure that we are 100% on whoever is replacing this guy. Whether you like it or not, if the West is not happy about what is going on, we would have heard their voices already. If the West is not happy about what is going on, their proxies will be speaking so loud.
True.
Their proxy, which is President of Ghana, President of Nigeria, President of Ivory Coast, you can name them. But of course, that is what they want. They want an establishment that will respond to them 24/7. And they are not going to get it from the opposition that is likely to take over the reins after SAR. In fact, almost all of them are called SAR.
Yeah.
All the opposition leaders, including the current president, who is illegitimately occupying the seat of the presidency.
No, for now it's legitimate.
For now it's legitimate.
It's legitimate after 25.
It is not legitimate.
Okay.
Parliament has.
It is not legitimate.
No, for now, it's 10 nights over.
No, I mean, let's understand why he's saying this.
It is not legitimate. You see, and that is where I will marry what is happening in Senegal to Ghana.
Okay, you'll not divorce it.
I will not divorce it. we have practice. That practice, assuming even if it wasn't constitutional, our 7th December elections have been practiced since the inception of the Fourth Republic. The inception of the Fourth Republic saw a military man, someone who took power by the gun, right? Did not even in the most conducive environment, did not find a need to do what is being done today. When even it was clear that President Kufuor was likely to take over the reins from him, he did not shift dates. He did not move dates around. Let's ask ourselves, the 1992 Constitution, how many years has it been practiced?
22?
Yes. So what is the rush? What has been the major fracture in terms of the dates of our elections that we seek to cure by moving and separating the elections of parliamentary elections and the presidential elections? What is it in there that we want to so cure? Because with the system we are running, if you give us 3 months to do handing over, there will be chaos, just like you have given us 2 weeks or 1 month to do the same thing. That people will not take over toilets, it will happen. And that's the first thing that happens.
Take position.
Take positions. That people will not struggle for cars, that we will not announce all over that some vehicles are being changed, the name of vehicles are being moved around, and all that. It will happen. Give us 3 months. It will even be more chaotic than what we have experienced in the past, because we have given people an ample time to misbehave. So what real reason went into this? You see, I call it an illegality, because trust me, we can all do what is happening in SAR. We can all do, Ghana can do same, which for me, I see us getting closer to that. We can wake up tomorrow and say that because we have not made a decision to hold election on 7th November, and certain things that have not been able to be done, we still do not have dates of opening registration for new entrance into the register and all that, and because of delaying that,
Parliament has also not passed the CI they tabled.
Parliament has not passed the CI. Parliament, one wing of Parliament has boycotted, and therefore there is a delay. We can't take this decision, and therefore, look, we want to amend whatever constitution. And then the very people who have not been able to pass the CI will go into Parliament and agree
In a committee of a whole.
in a committee of a whole and whatever, and then move the date to next year, 2025, December. And you tell me that is legal? That is democratic illegality. And that is what has been perpetrated all over Africa. And we have all remained silent. It is time we see those activities equally as a coup d'etat and fight it just like we will fight a coup d'etat.
Thank you, Michael, for your submission. Brilliant, as always. Now, again, you can see the book here. Yes, we all need to learn. It's important that we learn. And the title is Dispensing Justice in a Society in Flux, Walking a Legal Tightrope. Legal Tightrope, written by Justice Kwesi Nkrumah Aduama-Osei. Now, I've been telling you that I don't endorse something that is not worthy of endorsement, my endorsement particularly. And this book is a book that all of us need in our lives. Lawyers, students, even judges. Those of you who are about to write the entrance exams, you need this. Constitutional law students, legal system students, you need this book in your life. Again, let me give you the number. It's 024. I see that Richard Style is trying to type the number out. It's beautiful. You need a law in your life. 0243 689 906. 0243 689 906 or 020 81 33325. 020 81 33325. Call the numbers and place an order for this book. You will not regret it. When you purchase the book, take a picture of it and send it to me on WhatsApp. And let me give you proper props. Also, for those of you who intend to travel abroad, if you want to go to Europe, or if you need a Schengen visa, I will respectfully like to recommend a travel and tour agency to you. So people have known for over 8 years. Yeah, and I respect them a lot. Again, I won't endorse something that is criminal. So place a call to them if you want to go to the Schengen area. If you need a Schengen visa, if you need a UK visa, call them on 024 668 6962. Call them Sphere Travels. 0246 686 962. So for those of you who intend to travel abroad, Charlie, you want to go and make some quick cash, turn around and come and invest. Oh, you can call them. You want to go and make some quick cash and come and invest in your fishing business. You can call them. And then, now let's come back home. Assembly riba. Kind of there is a wind that is blowing, and indeed our parliamentary correspondent Gregory Pelkington Amwa intimated to me, I think over the weekend, that he has been eavesdropping and hearing that there's going to be a change, a reshuffle, as you know we like to call it, and that he knows that the finance minister will be changed. He knows that the Kojo Pong Information Minister will be changed and will be sent to sports, I believe, and several other, Ayokoboke will be changed, and then the Osechi Mensah will be sent there to Foreign Affairs Ministry. Ajimamenu, Ambrose Derry, all of them, they are going to be booted out. But then I was taken aback. I said, but it's not the president who said that, as for him, he doesn't see the need to reshuffle. That's because people are calling on him to reshuffle, because the people that he has there, he trusts them. And those people have been able to deliver. So, why would he reshuffle? Why would he change it? Like Kenneth Orata. In fact, Kenneth Orata is supposed to be persona non grata because he was rejected by his own people in parliament. Now, let me start with you, Michael Ni Yaboy. Now, you think this is the time for a reshuffle? And that's not even my question, right? Look, there is always, with the MPP particularly, and this is just me sharing my views. It's not that it's etched in stone. It's just my views. This particular MPP administration is a government that personally I do not trust, and that I believe that anything and everything that they try to do, there's always a motive behind it. And I want to believe that this is not just a knee-jerk reaction. I think it's something that has been planned over the period and is being executed now for political expediency, right? So I want us to go into the mind of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Try to understand from the perspective of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo why it has all of a sudden become imperative in sparing no attempt at reshuffling. It is critical because we need to appreciate that this is an election year, and we need to appreciate that all political parties will bring to the fore their political arsenals that they would use for their own benefit. So the question then becomes, why the reshuffle? So let's go into Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's mind from where you sit. And this one, don't be too NDC about it. Let's go into his mind to understand why all of a sudden there's going to be a reshuffle. Now, even if there's going to be why is Kenneth Orata part of the reshuffle? Because there were calls for him to resign or be sacked. Those calls were not needed too. In fact, the president himself said that, let him finish with the IMF negotiation, and then I will see to his exit. The president lied to us. Look us Ghanaians in our faces and lied to us, because if you told us that we're going to do XYZ and then that XYZ is done and you do not take the action, that you said you were going to take subsequent to the IMF deal, it means you've lied to us. And in any serious country, we should have been sued the president. Oh no, we can't sue the president. Okay, well, so we should have been taking an action against the president or impeaching the president or something. Something should have happened. The president clearly told lies. Michael.
This topic, you know what? We should understand that we are in the political season, whether you like it or not. So your comment about taking NDC out is not possible.
Now I said we go into the mind of Nana Addo.
Yes, and going into the minds of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is NDC.
Okay, all right.
I mean, for me, I knew some of these events are going to occur. One, they are going into a campaign, and that campaign will always have to refer to certain personalities in government and decisions they have taken over the years, and for them to come out and justify those decisions. Currently, as we speak, there are people in the minds of the president who are bigger than Ghana, and one of such is Ken Ofori-Atta. He doesn't envisage Ken Ofori-Atta writing a handing over as a minister of finance to somebody else. He wants someone else to do that job. Strategically, they believe that they will look good again if there is a new face there. Purposely, for the flag bearers campaign, for the MPP flag bearers campaign, this shift is nothing but for the campaign towards 7th December.
How so?
How so? Look, every economic achievement that this government, present government, claim they have achieved is based on lies. Each and every one of them. And let me give you an example. They took power in 2017. By 2018, there was rebasing. In fact, in the 2017 budget, they had stated that, and this minister had stated that the NDC saw the rebasing as an opportunity to borrow more because of the reduction in debt, the percentage of debt to GDP. That was in 2017. 2018, all of a sudden, similar incident happened when fruits, vegetables, and all sorts of constructions were added to our GDP computations, and the price base was also changed. Then we look good again, around 65%, and over 190% increase in borrowing occurred in 2019, not 2020. Then all of a sudden, by 2020, we are back into crisis. They will tell you about growth and all that. Those growth were not real, and they know it. It was based on the rebasing that occurred in 2018. The investments that got us new revenue lines with regards to oil, those investments have been done before 2016 or up to 2016. What they did was to only receive the 3 revenue lines coming from the fields, the oil fields. So here again, those percentages we achieved in terms of growth was not an event that occurred under their government. Of course, governance is a continuous process, it's a going concern. And therefore, you cannot blame them for adding that. That will be added. But the facts must be stated. Now, going into an elections, how do you expect a finance minister who has perpetrated all this, with the head of economic team being the flag bearer, how do you expect them to have the credibility to stand in front of Ghanaians and argue their case out? So for Nana Akufo-Addo, again, proud to come into power, he made a certain pronouncement which we all thought was very wise. Said he's thinking of the next generation and not the next elections. In fact, he's doing the opposite in this case. In this case, he's only looking at the next election, and he's prepared to do anything, absolutely anything, to win the next elections. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me and you. If you want to go into the minds of Nana Akufo-Addo, he wants to establish himself on Ghanaians, and he wants to be in control after 7th January 2025. And trust me, if we allow him, he will do that. The onus is on all of us to realize that they found Ghana not as a country to build,
but a country to milk.
But a country to milk. And they have done so well milking this country dry and dry. Ghana is dry for the next 3 to 4 decades. We are not going to come out of this. It will not be like the other programs we were on, and then after it we had, and every 6 years we kind of go back to it again. It is not going to be the same. This time around, it's going to take us 4 decades of proper management of this economy to have to come out of this milking.
Very well. Good morning to you, KOD. What you are discussing now is going to happen here in Ghana. So, Kwame, we must start cautioning the EC and Nana now before it's too late. Abbas from Adabraka sent in this message, and this one also says, "Hey, what is going on here, my brother? Wishing you a day filled with love, laughter, cherished moments. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Please, some of us know and understand who Bawumia is, but if these discussions are not broadcast majorly in all Ghanaian languages, Dr. Bawumia with sweet tongue will deceive many Ghanaians." Daniel Sotie in Adafua sent in this one. Okay, so these are some of the text messages. So you can also send a text message. I'll read it. Good morning to you, Kwame. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama cautioned Bawumia in 2016 that his rantings was becoming too much. He didn't listen. Now that he has been caught in his own web, he lied around. He turned around and to shamelessly say that he is only a myth. He should be prepared to face the wrath of the people of Ghana come December 7, 2024. Nana Kakari in Techiman sent in this one. Good morning, Nana Kakari. I trust you are well. This one is from D in Tema. D says, frankly speaking, if Ken is removed from the finance ministry or not, NDC government will certainly take him on the various scandalous thievery they meted out to the country. Well, thank you very much for that one. This one says, Yao Kisi from Takra. They say, looking at the deformed, defeating and cracked nature of our economy and as a country, we need an experienced, intelligent, submissive, developed, oriented, and integrated mind like JM to come and steer the affairs of the country for a better Ghana cometh 2024 and beyond. JM still stands tall across the divide in both NDC and NPP. Regards to Dr. Grace, incoming MP for Esikado Ketan constituency. Oh, thank you very much for your message this morning. KOD, why African leaders are so desperate for power is because of mismanaged corruption, intimidation, or they want to cover up. If so, then tell them it will not happen, especially Ghana. Another wants to find all means to hand over power to Bawumia. With God, it will flop. Amos in Asin Fosu. Thank you, Amos, for your message this morning. Democracy in its current form, especially in Africa, is a sham. What would have been the story if Macky Sall were to be a military leader? Oh, by the way, who say every military leader is a dictator or will trample on the rights of its citizens. Dominic from Tema sent in this one. Thank you, Dominic, for your message this morning. Will this NPP government blame COVID-19 and Ukraine-Russian war for unnecessarily large number of government appointees, corruption, arrogance, incompetence, extravagant spending, which contributed largely for their failure? Asanko sent this one in from Santa Maria here in Accra. This was God bless. Is it possible? Okay, right. So this message is not quite clear, but you can also send your message via WhatsApp. I'll read them. Also, those of you on Facebook, kindly send your messages on Facebook as well. I'll read them. Let me come to you, Doc, on this subject matter, please.
Thank you. So, there's going to be reshuffle today, and we're expecting major changes in this administration. Earlier this morning, I was on your show, and I was asked the same question. And it brings to mind the football game, where you are in the maybe 88 minutes about to end. There's a substitution. I mean, it is usually not about a substitution, but who is coming. You know, and like if you look at the Cote d'Ivoire game, they brought one guy on, I think a Dingra or so, and the guy made a whole change in the game. That happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we can expect that in this change, if the person coming have a certain, number one, respect, certain diligence to work, and certain ingenuity, we expect this 88th minute or 85th minute, something may turn around. However, especially I'm talking in respect to the finance ministry. Because we are on IMF program, most of the things that we are doing as a country is autopiloted. That you do not have enough room to do what you really want to do, you know, because there are certain indicators, there are certain things we're expected to done by nature of the program. So I would say that yes, it's better late than never. That I'm not sure since 1992 we've had a finance minister for 8 years straight.
No.
I mean, I'm not sure we have any, and this history of having 8 years straight, it would have been, I mean, some even the best player at times, Messi can be substituted, Messi can be changed. I mean, so the change is in order. I mean, if it happens, the change is in order. But we do not expect, because of the IMF program, to bring so much of, what do we call it, flexibility in what to do, except the finance minister who comes. And I'm sure the finance minister who will come will be preparing for the mid-year budget review. So we would want to see what the finance minister, the incoming finance minister, is expected to do. I mean, I also think that this whole change is to also change the face of the government a little. To change the face of the government a little. And let's see, I mean, what those who are coming on board, whether they will bring fresh ideas to be able to help change things.
But from what you said,
Yeah.
do you think that this particular team have been able to deliver on what was expected of them? Do you think so?
I've done a study from 2009 to 2023 on macroeconomic indicators, and I was trying to find out on various key indicators what has happened over the years. And for example, if we take the cedi depreciation, you know, I picked some key indicators, sector by sector, the cedi, the exchange rate, inflation, and all that. You will see between 2017 to 2020, the indicators are good. You know, in terms of the cedi depreciation, marginally, in the first term of this administration, it was looking positive. I mean, as compared to 2013, 2016. I mean, then you come to inflation. Within the first administration, it was also positive. What they didn't do so well was the management of the MPC, the monetary policy rate. That it was better within the 2009 up to 2016. I mean, so on a score, the management of exchange rate, inflation, they were looking good, with the exception of the policy rate. Then you come to the sectors, agric, industry, and service. In industry, in 2009, 2012, the administration, the government then did quite well, because in 2011 alone, there was a huge increased growth in industry for close to about 40%.
Wow.
Yeah. So in that first administration, 2009 and 2013, it was better in the first administration. But from 2013 to 2016, it was not so good as compared to 2017, 2020. So on a whole, in agriculture, you will see this administration from 2017 up to 2020. This administration has done well in terms of agriculture. I mean, as compared to the other 2009 previous years. Now, so generally, if we're looking at one administration, especially 2017, 2020, you could see, you can give a credit to this particular government. However, the talk about the Russian-Ukraine war and
respectfully, let's understand this. So you are comparing the first terms of both parties.
The first term.
So I think we should get that clearly.
Okay.
So we are looking at two different administrations, the NDC and the NPP. Now, you did your research to understand the growth patterns within those administrations, right?
Yeah.
And then you looked at some key indicators to guide you in that exercise. So you looked at inflation, you looked at the macro economy,
the MPC,
the monetary policy, and then you also looked at various sectors of the economy, and then you tried to compare which administration performed better. Now, so let's understand it very well. So you are comparing 2009 to 2000 and what? In NDC, you are looking at 2009.
The first term, the second term.
Exactly. So the first term, second term. So let's do the comparison. So you are saying that from the analysis that you've done, the first term during NDC's regime, in terms of inflation, in terms of monetary policy, right, and in terms of
I can give you real figures if you want.
Yeah, so I just want to understand, because the viewer in the house may not understand the figures. So you are saying that, so the first term of NDC from 2009 to 2015, right?
2009 up to 2012.
Sorry, 2009 to 2012, right?
Yes.
And Akufo-Addo's 2017 to 2020. So you are saying that 2017 to 2020 was better than 2009 to 2012.
In terms of some of the indicators.
In terms of some of the indicators. So you're saying that agric was better?
Agric was better?
I mean, is better really in this administration
in the first.
And then you said that what the exchange rate.
The exchange rate, for example, if we look at the 2009 to 2012, the exchange rate depreciation, the cumulative within that from 2009. Remember, at the time of 2009 January, the cedi to the dollar was about 1.2.
Yes.
I mean, then by 2012, if you look at the cumulative depreciation, it was about minus 3.1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the first. Then you come to the Nana Addo Bawumia's in 2017 to 2020. The depreciation was cumulatively, about 2.6. But I should say that sometimes we look at the depreciation in terms of, you picked it from this maybe 1.2. By the time we're leaving, it was 4. Then you subtract it. That's not how we do it.
But is it done in isolation? The depreciation of the city, is it done in isolation, or is a cumulative or amalgamation of factors?
If we look at it monthly, we do the depreciation.
Hold on, respectfully. So because in understanding the depreciation of the city, because Bawumia actually makes us understand that the fundamentals determine whether or not the city will be stronger, right? So let's look at the fundamentals during the first tenure of the NPP, for which reason we are saying that the performance in terms of the exchange rate was better than the NDC in 2009, cumulatively, right? So what fundamentals are you looking at? What did they do for you for you to come to the conclusion, or for the research really to come to the conclusion that the first part of NPP's administration in terms of the indicators were better than the NPP? I just want to understand practically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we should ask what they did to be able to make the city stronger, it is exchange rate is almost everything that the government is doing. I mean, whether you are borrowing to cushion your currency, whether you are exporting more to cushion to get more foreign currency, you know, the outcome of your exchange rate, sorry, let's say in this case the city to the dollar, tells us the measures you are put in place.
Okay, so now let's
I don't know
understand.
if you will let me explain.
Respectfully, go ahead.
Yeah, if you will let me explain the depreciation well, because most of it, what I hear in the new, most people talk about is that they do a flat value. Looking at the absolute value, maybe it was 1 cedi, it is now 3 cedi. You subtract, you say it has been, maybe it has about 200%. That's not how we do depreciation, because you have to look at it month on depreciation or appreciation. So in some month it may go down, some month it may gain marginally. So you take the plus and minuses to arrive at that, whether the value has depreciated or not. Like some people say that since we did a what do you call it? First time we did a denomination, it was 1 cedi to $1, and it is now 12 cedis. Then you subtract what do you call it? And you say that it is about, it is not a flat. If you do that, you have taking out what they call the seasonal variation. Before you get a trend, there's a seasonal variation. So if we look at this trend that I have done here, you will see that I account for the various month-on-month depreciation, or better still appreciation. Then you look at cumulatively. So in the first term, you will see overall depreciation of about 3.1. Then we have 2.6 for the first term. I mean, so marginally you will say that although the difference is about 1% or whatever, but marginally you could see that the 2007 and the 2020 has done better. Now, sometimes we may attribute it to the fact that governance is continuous. For that matter, what probably the NDC did before they left office is what has made the stability. It's the same way that if we are claiming gains for a particular regime, we can also attribute it to the previous. So if we are looking in context, I mean, we will say that marginally in their first.
But what is significant for me, really, and Richard, I hope you understand what I'm doing here. What is significant for me is the explanation that you gave relative to the performance or otherwise of the city, right? That you made mention of the fact that the city may perform well if government takes some, or government executes some policies, right? So for instance, it could be that you've borrowed more to cushion the currency. It could be that your fiscal policy is so strong to the point where there is minimal outflow of the dollar, and that ultimately protects the city, that you are not importing more, you are exporting. So all these factors cumulatively. But if you look at the administration, especially within the first quarter of the NPP, you recall that there were a lot of borrowings within the first period. Could it be that it is as a result of the borrowings which were done by the administration which cushioned the city to the point where, you know, we could say that the exchange rate was better than the previous administration? Could that be a factor?
Yeah, it is.
Because I want us to clearly understand that.
It is, and no, you can take it from President Kufuor's time. We have always borrowed to cushion our currency. I mean, so borrowing has been one of the measures. That is why in 2022 we have the exchange rate, you know,
skyrocketing.
Skyrocket, because we have been shut from the capital market, that we couldn't borrow. We have to have the flexibility to cushion our currency. So borrowing is a way, you know, of trying to strengthen your currency if you don't have anything to fall on. So it is a tradition that almost every government has.
I think we need, you and I would come back here and discuss.
We will have to maybe to go on.
To really understand this, but for want of time, I'll leave it here. But I'll engage you again. Speak with Bless, engage you again, and then understand this. But what is significant in the analysis that has been given so far is the understanding that there are several factors which operate to either vary or sustain the economy and the financial space and things like that. And it's important. No, it's important. I mean,
need proper analysis in there, because because of time, just to state that look, the in terms of what the CD dollar performance, right, did not emanate from anything really done between 2017 to 2020 or 2019. It is based on the fact that, look, we being honest, is that, look, towards the 2012 elections, we have issued more currency into the system. Our M2 Plus shot up. 2012. The effect of it was around 2013, 2014, when we had pushed the percentage to about 33%, and that comes as a discomfort to the nation.
But it's
financials.
still against the fact that what you're saying is true.
No, hold on.
Against the fact that what you're saying is true.
Yes,
and from your own analysis, there's an admission that during that period there was some economic instability, particularly because of decisions taken by government.
And I am saying that those same decisions, similar, had occurred during the first the elections of 2020, where we had pushed also beyond the 33%, and this time we were at 35%, and that is when we suffered the inflation. 2-3 years on, shot up to about 54%. So you see, when you are in discipline, the effects of that indiscipline does not immediately occur. It will occur at a later time.
What for me, and I'll come to you. We will have a discussion on this, because Register has not spoken. He's sitting quietly.
Let me just. The reason why I did this study is that, you see, usually NDC, NPP tickle themselves. That I have done well, this person said I have done well. But you see, we have to objectively look at it. If you look at the differences, it is marginal. That this person have gone up by 1%, above this person, 2%, it is marginal.
That is why what
can
I
I land?
Is to take off the names. NDC.
So I didn't know what
it's comparing regimes. Definitely, it's comparing regimes.
Let's finish.
You cannot take it out, because there's no other political formation in power.
Let's finish analyzing the numbers. And when we are clear that this is what propelled this, this is what caused this could have been managed better, then we can bring in the names.
I don't think that he didn't mention it. He said 29. Yes.
But in your mind, we know who has been around in 2009.
But let's allow Register. I have 4 minutes left, and I think we're unfair to Register. So let's allow him to speak. Sir, please.
I was enjoying it. Maybe I'm a fisherman, you know.
Let's speak. Let's talk
about Richard. The president has not announced anything yet. So we are all basing our argument on presumptions, and people had already come out to the list, which is not official. I've seen people on Facebook celebrating already, some wearing white, because they have been, they are supposed to be announced to have taken over regions and ministries and all of that. But you see, Ami Anta is my very good friend. I hear he will take over as the finance minister. That's what I hear, if that is very true. But we've been in civil society, we've done a lot of things together. The challenge I have is, you take over at a time when you don't even have a budget to read. You are not preparing your own budget, because MPP for now is done with budgets. So you have to now, it's like it's been set on autopilot. and you basically have to do. What I see is more of a political chess game, because from the presentation made by the Vice President at UPSA, it seemed to have suggested that he's not in control of the economy. He's not in control of anything. There are people who had hijacked the government, and that he is only a driver's mate. So probably let's bring people he's more comfortable with. If he's not comfortable with Ken Ofori-Atta, after all, we have nothing more to do. So let's bring somebody who has a good relationship with him that he can work with. So you realize from the list I saw, presumptive list that I saw, almost all the old faces who had been with the president are going out. Almost all of them. And so the persons who are coming in are people that you can say that do not have the weight that will weigh on the presidential candidate of the MPP. And so he could flow with them. Probably from this moment, he may have to take charge as a driver, whereas those who are going out takes a back seat for him to drive the economy and now speak to it more as a person who is in charge towards the elections, and not make reference to somebody he believed is in the same vehicle with, but has run the vehicle into a ditch because he himself as the mate was probably not paying attention. So that is what I see in the attempt to take people out. Because, for instance, if you are moving Chairman from Parliament to Foreign Affairs, Chairman Zambuzu has a very good relationship with the Vice President.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good relationship. So probably this is a cabinet for him to work with and see how to run the campaign. That's how I understand it.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. Mr. Kwame, in regards to you, more especially the NDC man, Kwame, MPP do not deserve to rule Ghana again. Mr. Kwame, the guy is so passive. Mr. Kwame was born about 1,000 times. MPP is good for nothing. And the good people of Ghana are waiting for them come to December 7 to kick them out. Mustafa Zoya Yendi, member of Progressive Youth for NDC. This one simply says, hi back. Good morning to you. As we compare the exchange with inflation and other growths, let us be mindful of the quantum of loan taken by the various regimes. Man from Kwame Krum in Oti region. Thank you. This one also says, good morning to you, Kwame, and your panelists. I enjoyed the conversation going on. I just admire the young man from UPSA. He speaks from a technical point of view when delivering, delving into matters concerning the performance of the economy. Politicians always speak on purely politics for their own parochial interest. Please always allow technical personnel to speak on technical issues. Thank you, James. Thank you too, James, for your message this morning. This one says, Jemensa, the EC boss, she is on her way to visit jail. Hey, Maza, why? You said this one from the Volta region. Greetings, your name is Agbamafie Emmanuel from Avatime. Thank you very much for your message this morning. Good morning to you, KOD. While talking about Senegal, we should also be thinking of Ghana under this discriminative, nepotistic, dictative, and tribalistic leader. Thank God he's old enough to act. Ghana would have been there. BB from Accra sent in this one, and the messages are a lot. Whether reshuffle or not, MPP government will account for every cedi they have borrowed when NDC comes into power. Joe from Oti region. And let me say a special thank you and good morning to all our viewers watching from the length and breadth of this country. I'm amazed that you always find a time every morning to join the discussions here. The show would not have been what it is without your support and without your viewership. We are extremely and eternally grateful that you always watch us every morning. And particularly those of you who are the silent viewers. You know, I know there are very respected men and women in Ghana who often watch the morning show, but they would never send a text message. So to all those unknown ones that watch the morning show every day without sending messages, I really, truly, genuinely appreciate that you always watch it. And sometimes you send me personal messages and all of that. I really, really am grateful. Thank you very much. And to all the viewers from across the country and also across the ECOWAS sub-region and the other 46 other African countries, we are appreciative of your consistent and continuous support. Thank you. My name is Kwame Owusu-Danso. I've been doing this with my wonderful panelists who are very intelligent and always deal with the issues and address them as they are. Michael Niyaboy is a member of the NDC and also a financial analyst. He was or is, deep-rooted in Ododo constituency, and hopefully, I think the NDC made a very huge mistake in that constituency. They should have chosen this man. But, well, whom am I? Register is also a fisherman, as he always likes to describe himself. And, of course, Eric Boachi Yadom, thank you very much. He's also a lecturer at UPS, a senior lecturer for that matter, at UPS. It's been an amazing time. Thank you. But before I go, let me remind you of this book. Please, get a copy. Wait, don't zoom me out yet. Wait, let me market this book. It's important that you call the number that I gave you. I don't know whether I can, fish it out quickly. So just give me 1 second. I beg you, all of you, I beg you. Just give me 1 second, and let me put a number out for the last time. The number to call is 0243-689-906. 0243-689-906. Call for to make enquiries and also to even be part of the launch. And for those of you who intend to travel abroad, my friend is sending me text message. He said he's already received about 20 calls. Wow, impressive. You can call the travel and tour agency as well on 0246686962. 0246686962. Call them Sphere Travels and they will help you get your visa to Europe or Europe, Schengen, and then UK visa. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. God bless.